What's up, hobby friends, and welcome back to Paint Bravely, the podcast where you can find a little bit of encouragement, discover new ways to make your hobby more fun, and most importantly, learn to paint bravely. All right, we got some interesting hobby stuff this week. I think there's some stuff going on in the community, a lot of online stuff. I find personally, it's definitely the thing that Brent's got to talk about on his face that we'll get to. So why don't we jump in right there and you start with that, buddy.
It is the 1st of November. With the day we're recording, this is the 1st of November, and you know what that means, Casey. It means Halloween was last night, and I am full of chocolates.
That's true, actually. How was your Halloween? Did you do anything?
I played Magic the Gathering Commander with my buddies.
Nice, okay.
Nobody dressed up,
good.
but we ate some chocolates.
I was dressed up as a giant ape. True story.
A lot of ways we can go with that. Yeah.
I guess. Like, I was Bigfoot, and I have the outfit, and now it's going to live in my car, just in case.
Okay. Well, I am starting a game of D&D with my buddies, and I made my character, and my character's name is going to be Burt Mabers, because this is too good of a name not to use. But
it is too good. It's
going to be it'll be a cleric. Everyone else in the game is doing melee class, fighter, rogue, barbarian. Somebody's got to be a cleric, so Burt Mabers stepping up to the plate. And I don't know all the rules, but you get to pick your aspect and who are you a cleric to? What's the deity that you are serving?
Yeah.
Burt Mabers, cleric of Harambe. So we got that deep tie to the great ape community here.
Yeah. Well, it's all ape today, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I guess last night.
Paint Bravely podcast, episode 122, Great Ape episode.
The Great Ape. Yeah, we got it. Nailed it.
Aren't you glad you tuned in?
We're glad you're here. Yeah. That's cool, though. Like, you're starting off a new campaign. You got a new character. You're feeling good about it. You have to buy, 20 rule books to get into that, then? That's how that goes?
Did not have to, but interestingly, my buddies did decide to get going with whatever they're calling the 2024 edition of the D&D handbook. So, last time I was at my hobby store, I did spend $50 on a new edition of the Player's Handbook for Dungeons and Dragons. On the one hand, I don't know. I barely read the first version of the book. But
that's why I'm wondering. Do you know what the differences are?
The difference is the year 2014 is when 5th edition D&D came out. And 2014 is also the same year that 7th edition 40K came out. And if they can crank through 3.5 editions of 40K, I can buy a new player's handbook in that time. I think that's fine.
It's fair. That's fair.
It's
been a decade.
Legitimately, no shade, no agendas here. 100%, 10 years is the correct amount of time for any game to go through an edition. That's enough time for you to get your use out of any books that you purchased and actually get to know things, and everyone can be comfortable and find ways to get joy, and then you can move on to the next thing. And 10 years seems 10 perfect.
Years makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, man, I remember the good old days when Magic the Gathering was kind of like that. Not a decade, obviously, but long time between sets. And I felt real good about that. And now I can't keep up. Now, Warhammer feels like that, and I guess D&D, maybe they're catching up, but 10 years feels pretty good. Feels good.
I suspect there will never be a 10-year gap again. It is clear that Wizards of the Coast is trying to milk that property for everything it can, and the 2024 edition of the Player's Handbook makes me think real strongly there's going to be a 2025 or at least 2026 edition of the Player's Handbook.
What does it say on the actual book? Does it say like 2024? Like, you know what I mean?
It says limited edition because I got the fancy copy from my store for the same price. I don't know.
Well, that's nice. Yeah.
I think I don't know what I think they're calling it, the 2024 edition.
Yeah.
I know there's been like a cabal of online influencers trying to get it to be called 5.5 or something like that, you know, edition 5.5.
Is it half as more different than the last one?
Well, in the deep lore, there was people pretty much liked D&D 3, and then 3 was around for a while with a lot of modifications, and they called that 3.5, like, you know, edition
that's how
3
I
plus
remember
some
it
modifications.
being, like,
so like
3.5, right?
That was a real thing in the D&D community. Yeah.
Okay.
So it makes sense to be like, okay, this is just a solid upgrade on the 5th edition. We'll call this edition 5.5. It makes sense. Yeah. It checks out.
It makes sense. After 10 years, they'd be like, look, we're halfway through. It's good. So we're doing well. Like, yeah, okay. Like, come in.
No, there's after seeing what Wizards has been doing to Magic and what they tried to do with just getting D&D all online and microtransactioned out, like they will be selling books more often than once every 10 years. I have a feeling.
I'm sure they want to, right? Yeah. And it does make sense. Like for something as large as D&D is, right? Like there have to be other avenues where like people can interact with it, right? Like the movie came out. The movie was good. A lot of people liked the movie. Cool. That's a whole other avenue. They spent a lot of money on that, right? Like there's going to be more of those. I don't know. We paint models. Painting models seems like a thing, but not a lot of people do that.
They should push it. I don't know. They should push it.
They should.
Yeah.
They should. I don't know if they will.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, buying a new player's handbook after 10 years, I felt good about that. But I also feel like I'm contributing. Like this was the first step towards the buying a new book every 2 years, and so I feel torn between two worlds. Like I've rewarded them for thank you, 10-year cycle, perfect, well done. But I feel like I've also just encouraged, no, we just pump out as many books as possible. So I think I'm right in both respects. We shall see, though. We shall see.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like, yeah, in the last 10 years, I think I've purchased one D&D book, and it was the Player's Handbook.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, maybe they're going to get this idea that, like, well, people bought it back then. They're still playing it now, and now they're buying a new one. Well, the door's open. Like, we can really go for it.
Yep.
I hope not. But
no, that's where things are headed. But D&D or you know RPGs in general, it's a little easier for the DM to say this is the edition we're playing. Something like Warhammer, it is harder to tell a group of 10 people like no, we're playing 5th edition up to this codex release or whatever. Yeah, that's harder to do. But if you're playing an RPG, the DM can be, here are the character sheets that we're using, and let me tell how you roll your stats.
Yeah. Because I mean, once you're in, right? You have your options of things you can choose from, but other than that, like, there's not a lot to look into. So that makes a little more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they start to get really egregious with a new edition of that game every 2 years or something, like it's a little easier for the DMs just to be like, no, I'm done buying books. We're going back to 3.5, baby. Yeah.
We're just gonna go way back. Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. That's
yeah.
But I did paint up a mini, or I got a good start on painting up a mini for Burt Mabers here. I needed a dwarf cleric, level 1, and I kind of was scrounging around seeing what I had, and the closest thing that I could find came from a box of broken Anvil miniatures that I bought when it was on sale last year on Black Friday. So that's something that I've had like 3 boxes of broken Anvil miniatures sitting around here for a year, and I finally found a really good excuse to paint one up. So we got Burt Mabers, the Cleric of Harambe here, ready to go.
Oh boy,
ready to go.
Yeah, I also have a broken Anvil miniature that I printed out today.
Yeah,
it's from this little game called Rivenstone.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, you've heard of this. Yeah. So Broken Anvil is, I'm pretty sure, not a company anymore.
Well, it's sure not a website anymore.
It's definitely not a website, which it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They ended up selling Rivenstone, the IP, all of the STLs, everything, to a company called, oh my god, I forgot.
Strange Plastic.
Strange Plastic? That sounds right.
Strangeplastic.com.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, you wrote that down.
I did. You told me about this
I know.
just minutes ago, Casey. I was like, what?
Yeah, like Brent had no idea. He's like, hey, I painted this broken Anvil model. I'm like, boy.
I'm over here. I'm getting really into these broken Anvil models.
Yeah.
And you're like, type brokenanvil.com into your web browser and see what happens. Like, oh, this does not exist.
It is broken. A broken link. That store is gone. I mean, they could have certainly just not paid their like yearly thing on the site, but
so it's a recap. Broken Anvil's a company that had several pretty good sized Kickstarters, but they got in over their head. Something went wrong, and things fell apart. And
they've been scrambling ever since to basically try and at least get like Rivenstone, which was their first major, pretty large Kickstarter done. They've been giving updates. They've been showing stuff, doing training for the COcast machines, and they've been producing pieces. They've had these STLs for years, but they finally cut a deal with this company, and it looks like they're just going to completely take over everything. And they released all of the STLs. Like, I got all of mine that I paid for through the Kickstarter. So my starter set for this army and the terrain and all the extras and stretch goals and whatever else I ended up getting. I can't even remember at this point. It was like 3.5 years ago. But yeah, like I've been printing them out, and they're still cool. And it looks like there will be a life for at least some of the Broken Anvil miniatures. I don't know about the ones you've been painting up, but we'll see.
Yeah, I still got my physical stock here. Yeah. So sad to hear about Broken Anvil. Like, they clearly wanted to do big things. They got about halfway there, or in some cases more than halfway. But things fell apart. But it'll be interesting to see if Rivenstone can get a second wind or not. But you got some STLs, and that's a good start. Yeah,
I got the STLs. I'm still, by all accounts, this game's supposed to be fun. Like, I never actually played it. Like, I know we had the opportunity a while ago at Adepticon and like just didn't do it. But
the demo tables were filled. They had like 4 or 5 really nice looking demo tables going, and they were filled. And like, I don't know, we hovered around like Scott while he was playing a game, and I don't know, people seemed to be smiling. I don't know.
Yeah.
The tables looked beautiful. The models looked awesome.
No, and I'm glad that they're at least getting out there, right? Like being able to print the models out and see them and actually hold them and be like, okay, yeah, I remember liking this when I saw this, and getting into it. Like, I'm excited to get the full warband printed out, and I mean, I probably won't paint them anytime like soon, but it might be a good like weekend project of just hanging out. And when they potentially or inevitably get the rules done and actually finish out this Kickstarter, which that's what they said they're going to do. You know, we'll see. Hopefully get to play an actual game at some point. That'd be pretty cool.
Ooh, strange plastic, picking up the Rivenstone baton and running with it. Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it, right? Like they did a whole update post, and then they sent out emails, and then they're like, okay, we're fulfilling all of the digital side of things. It's on My Mini Factory right now. Like they started a new store for this company, and it's all of the Rivenstone stuff is there to buy currently. So technically it's all there.
Right on.
And I want to say the rules are out, but like, digitally, I don't know. I was just going to wait for the physical one, so I just didn't bother. But yeah.
All right. Well, that was a big Kickstarter from a couple of years ago, but we've moved on in time. There are big Kickstarters of today to talk about.
Dude, there's so many. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I was just talking about some Kickstarter not that long ago and this and that. Like okay. So I backed 2 things this week, and I received 1 thing this week.
Look at you.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad. Like I shouldn't have done it, but I did it, and I'll feel good in like 2 years when I get it.
All right, what'd you get?
Yeah, so I got Hobgoblin. So Mike Hutchinson's Hobgoblin like skirmish fantasy war game.
Nice.
So it's a dude that wrote Gaslands. And
that's right.
Like a full on square base, fantasy war game. So big movement trays and stuff. You're wheeling and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's the model agnostic cool one we saw at Adepticon a few years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get like a list you can build kind of however you want, fill it out, and then you're good to go. I did buy into there were cards that came with it, like some spell cards and some other like player aids and some stuff like that. But yeah, just got in the mail. Pretty excited about that because I remember getting we got like a little pamphlet that was kind of like, here's what this game is and how to build an army and do some stuff. And it was like pretty cool. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see a little bit more about it. And to get into that. I don't know anybody around me that has it or cares, but there are a lot of people around me that play Gaslands. So I'm thinking there's got to be some people.
Yeah. Well, if I'm remembering right, the way that you kind of built your units in that game made a lot of sense and had a lot of customizations. You'd be like, I'm making a unit of sword and shield guys, and they they have great weapons, and so they get +1 cleave, and I don't know, but you could there was a lot of modularity to being able to make the rules for your unit match whatever models you decided to bring to the table. So it's not just here's the unit profile for whatever Empire Spearmen. It's it's here's a starting profile, and you equip them with spears and shields, and you want their strength to be this because they've got big muscles, whatever. That's what I'm remembering from that pamphlet we got. Did you flip through the rule book? Is it maybe kind of like that?
It seems like that. I've barely looked at it at this point. Like I got it and I didn't realize, like I had honestly thought, because this Kickstarter was a couple years ago too. Yeah. Right. I had thought somehow that I had like messed up some address or maybe shipped it to an old address or done something, and I was just never going to get the Kickstarter, like that I had done something wrong. Yep. And it just showed up. So yeah. I don't know. Haven't had time.
Early Christmas for you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, then dude, it's pretty sweet. The artwork too is pretty sweet. I dig it. Yeah. I ended up backing, so So what's a Steamforged game? It's like the dungeon crawler.
Dark Souls.
I literally paid lots of money for this and don't remember what it's called. Bard Sung.
Oh, okay.
I have all the Dark Souls stuff.
Do you? Okay.
I do. I literally have all of it. Yeah. That's pretty fun. The models are iffy. They're real early. It was, I think, Steamforge's first Kickstarter ever. It was pretty rough. Like all of it looks great. Like all the materials look great. Everything else is great. The models are hit or miss, some of them. So a little bummed about that. And then I ended up buying into the Horizon Zero Dawn board game. Like went pretty hard in that. They got some cool models there. A little small, which is a little weird, but they're fine. Like the plastic's much better. So if the plastics are decent for this for Bard Song, which apparently they are, like should be good. It's like a 2.0 version. There's some upgraded things and it wasn't a terrible price. Like I was thinking about buying it anyways, and then they were doing this. I think it was on like Game Found or Backer Kit or one of those. So I got a couple of the upgrades and that sounded fun because I'm looking for something like that, like a group dungeon crawl kind of thing that's at least easy enough to get into with people.
With children.
Like fun. Yeah, that too. With kids.
Uh-huh.
So that does make it like way more likely. If I can teach this to an 8-year-old, then
yeah, you get through necromolds on a Monday, and then by the weekend you're on to Bard Song. Yeah.
We've played necromolds like 5 times now.
It's time for something new.
I'm telling you, it's not bad. We've even gotten to some of the advanced rules. We're talking about like facing and getting behind people and getting bonuses and stuff. Like it's working. It's working good. Mm-hmm. And that Play-Doh, dude, let me tell you, like you wipe somebody out and you get to mush them. Like that's fun. That's a fun time.
Sounds fun. Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great.
Yeah. And then after that, like almost immediately, I ended up backing Trench Crusade.
Oh, you actually backed it? Okay.
Oh yeah, I backed it. What are you talking about? Come on.
I mean, we're special, so they slipped us like a couple STLs early.
I printed those out, and they're sweet. I
still haven't printed mine out yet.
They're not bad at all.
Yeah.
Like I really like the heads, and like it's kind of funny because like you and I just painted a very large army of Imperial Guard, right? And like
secret.
Whatever. It's a secret. I know. I don't care. Nobody knows why. It doesn't matter.
Don't tell them. They can't know. Not yet.
Too late. It's too late. So we painted models, right? My point is, like, these are not far off. Like the style of like, obviously it's, guard type uniforms and that kind of thing. Trench, Crusade, World War One. But they have this really cool like medieval element to them. So like their helmets are medieval helmets.
Yeah.
And they have like little bits of armor on them that are like, oh, this has got like a pauldron on this like jacket, It's cool. It's a cool look. So I'm pretty excited about that. I didn't get into any of the STLs or any of the models or anything because I'm going to wait, till later, I guess, to see. I don't want to like sit around and think about it too much. I'd rather do it last minute where I have no choice. I just pick one. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I did get the rule book. That's what I ended up getting. So at least I'll have that. And I mean, I guess a lot of it is encourages kit bashing and doing that whole thing to make your war bands and all that stuff. It's a very model agnostic game, much like the Hobgoblin game. So definitely looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, Trench Crusade is doing big numbers. I haven't given them any money, but you have given them $1.3 million so far. So
yes, I gave them $1.3 million. That's me. Oh, they just went up to 1.3 and $2,000. That's where
good
they
work
just now.
Good
just
work.
as I looked at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's going up pretty high. That's a big Kickstarter.
Yeah, in this realm, that's a big Kickstarter. Yes.
Yeah, for a rulebook and STLs too. Granted, it's not purely focused on that. I mean, I think they're doing physical miniatures too. I don't know out of what material. I haven't looked into that too much. I don't know who's making them. I guess with $1.3 million, like, they might be all right. Might be. I don't know.
Some of the social posts I saw seemed genuinely shocked. Like, some of the posts I saw from the Trench Crusade creators seemed in shock at what had just happened. So maybe they're going to need to do some adjustments on whatever their original plans had been. They've got like 2 anycubic photons in their basement, and they are recalibrating quickly.
I do know that it is a small team of people who don't necessarily do this for a living. They're just like, this is a cool thing that we like and we do.
Yeah.
And now 7,400 other people giving them $1.5 million think so too. So
right on.
That's pretty sweet. Honestly, that's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, people are excited about it. I know they've had Facebook groups and a Discord group going for a long time of people who are legitimately excited about this setting. They also got a stupid boost earlier in the year from the little female custodian from 40K. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Okay.
What happened?
6 months ago or whatever, when Games Workshop had a passing, like, her pronoun for a character in their Custodes book. You remember the big hoopla, like, no, they have to all be men. There needs to be, like, the 2037th Brotherhood in the setting world of 40K. It's very, very important that no girls are allowed. That whole thing. Mm-hmm. So one of the flavors of backlash to including women in a fictional setting was in a tiny corner of his fictional setting. Sorry. So these fucking losers decided that Warhammer 40K was too woke, and they had to go to one of these properties that were not too woke, and so just basically it's seemingly at random or like arbitrarily they're like Trench Crusade. There's no way there's no way the people who made this game have functional relationships with women in their life. There's no way. Like, right, Trench Crusade.
Gotta hop on that train right now. Oh no.
So
I did not hear about this at all.
Oh no, it was
I don't know how I missed this.
It was just like one of the chapters of the idiotic Custodes backlash, which...
Yeah.
And even all of that only happened because the people who make these anti-woke videos couldn't complain about the Fallout show because the Fallout show was good. Like, all of these anti-woke channels, they were ready to get 2 weeks of content out of the Fallout show, but the Fallout show ended up being good, even though there was like a lady protagonist and like a colored man in the video. They got caught blindsided by the quality of that show, so they had to move on to something else. And there's women in the Custodes now. But anyway, just to bring you back to that moment in time in early 2024.
Yeah, no, for sure. God, what a weird thing, man.
But I don't know. Maybe in week 2 of this idiotic blowback, like the Chudley types, as they're called, decided to move to Trench Crusade. We're done with Games Workshop. It's too woke over there in Nottingham. We're going, knowing nothing about it, we're going to Trench Crusade because I'm seeing some World War I. That's very manly. No girls allowed there. I'm seeing some Templar imagery, like that has some kind of weird association sometimes. Like that should be good, right? That should be a nice safe space for men. And very quickly, these types were just like kicked out of the Discord group kicked out of the Trench Crusade Discord group. So anyway, the search engine optimization of the Warhammer and Custodes had like an extra fun little boost for Trench Crusade also.
I mean,
of like, look at this. Here, look at all these cool images, and then also here, these people are not monsters. Like, cool. Yeah, let's support these guys. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. No, it feels like they're making just a cool setting for a game that's like, well, we don't want to play historical war games. We want more fantasy, but like, we like tanks and cool stuff like that. So here's what we did. And it's cool.
I just got a memory card full on my camera over here, so it's
Did you really?
Yeah, it's looking like it's cats. It's a swimming cat for me.
I can't believe it. You the guy that has like a 12-hour memory card going. Somehow you filled that up. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's 512. That's half a terabyte. I'm not sure how that memory card is filled. That actually doesn't even make sense. But
you're shooting in like pure raw, like time lapse photos only.
That's all right. The editor knows what to do. I have to be a paddle cat this time, I think.
At least it's not me. I feel good. Let me check though. It's still good. I'm still recording. This is good.
All right.
It's usually me.
All right, it's just audio of me and my mustache over here.
Maybe it should just, instead of a cat, it should just be a blown up picture of your face. I wonder, there's got to be some kind of like AI, right, that like animates a mouth just jabbering up and down. You know what I mean?
We could be VTubers. Yeah, Paint Brave for the podcast going full VTube.
That's not a bad idea, okay?
It's
not a terrible idea. It's not.
Make our life easier.
Yeah. It sounds terrible. Then you start thinking about it. You're like, well, actually.
It sounds lazier and easier is what it sounds like. You don't get the cats wandering in front of the camera, which...
I don't have any cats in here, so I got...
Yeah, so that doesn't really matter. You have lizards, I guess. He's got his Rivenstone model. All right, where were we? Trench Crusade is doing good.
Crusade,
you backed it. I haven't backed it yet.
Heretical skirmish war game set in an alternative World War I. Definitely only for dudes. That's what that says, right? That's where
only
we're at.
For dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad they got kicked out because that would have been a huge bummer, like jumping in on this thing, being like, hey, this is cool. I like this aesthetic here that you got going, and have it full of like AK Chads, like, okay.
Call them AK Chads?
Yeah. It's got multiple meanings. Oh.
So we'll see how that turns out. But yes, they did.
Much, yeah.
When the Nazis wandered over to try to hang out in the Trench Crusade Discord, they were told to leave, please. I don't know if they used the word please, but they were told to leave. And then they started complaining about Trench Crusade, which is actually better advertisement for it. So... And now they're up to 1.3 million, and we'll see what they can do with the other 20 days left in the campaign.
Yeah, really. Jeez. Yeah, I'm definitely curious because that's a big Kickstarter for a small company, small game like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. The models are actually, they look pretty decent too, which is cool. And even the printed out ones that I did print, like I said, they're sweet. They're cool. So like, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but that's most of the money that I spent this week. I also got some paintbrushes because I needed some of those.
You get any good ones?
I got some of the nice Winsor Newton Series 7s.
Oh, okay, you did.
A couple of those. Yeah, it's been a while. Like I've been running on like two brushes for the last year, and they've been real good. My number 2 still real strong, like real sharp, real nice. My number 1, not so much.
I can confirm you were running a little bit low when I came to visit. A little bit low.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I usually only have like a couple of actual paintbrushes. Like the Winsor Newtons last a good long time, so I just have those and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
As far as synthetics too, I don't like them very much, so I just don't use them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to worry about that for a while. I think you bought a pack that's still here. I haven't touched them.
Well, next time I come to visit, maybe I'll have some paintbrushes.
Literally, yeah. We'll see.
All right. So, I've been told of like some other Kickstarter kind of things coming up, or I guess backer kit things. There's a I in the mail the other day got my jagged edge goblins. So these I backed a project from Trenchworks and from MCDM, Matt Coville DM. I don't know. He's got a whole series of adventures for each level in an RPG campaign, and the first level was goblins, and so I backed the Trenchwork models for those goblins. I got that in the mail. They look good, and apparently just an immediate turnaround of now on backer kit is the level 2 adventure, or the models for like the level 2 stuff. So that's hobgoblins and kobolds.
Okay, hobgoblins. Yeah, okay. I see, and I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming because he literally told us it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I might have to go look at that. So
yeah, we get the Firefield hobgoblins and kobolds. And the kobolds are like little legionnaire kobolds. They're like kobolds, like Roman legionnaire kobolds. So
do they have shields and everything?
Of course.
They got big
Yep.
Is that on Kickstarter?
Backer kit.
Backer kit, right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I backed 3 things this week.
Now, you said you got your hobgoblin in the mail, and
I did.
That's from Mike Hutchinson, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the salesperson who was really talking up to us was Greg Horton, and
yes,
and he's got something going up on backer kit now too.
He does.
Bloody Hollow. So that's it's got miniatures, it's got STLs, it's got a just rule set. I don't know much about it, but
so it's like what is it? A direct descendants of one of the families tied to the inspiration behind Washington Irving's Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Something.
Bloody Hollow.
Bloody Hollow. Yeah. I read a thing about it a while ago. It looks cool. I'm probably honestly gonna do this too, because like the book looks cool, the art looks cool, it's Sleepy Hollow. Like, come on.
All right, we're getting you all ready for Christmas here.
Yeah,
Halloween's
like
over. It's Christmas time, so it's time to start spending money on rule books.
Well, like the rule book in itself, right? The actual one, the PDF $16 for Bloody Hollow. So it's not a huge ask. Okay. And then the actual like core pledge is $50 basically. So it's not bad at all. Yeah, I'm literally clicking buttons right. I gotta stop.
All right. Strangely, on some of these things, I have better impulse control. On like Kickstarters and crowdfunding things, I think I have better impulse control than you do, Casey.
I'm glad you do. Yeah, I definitely do not.
But I enjoy showing you things and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, I try and back the things that I genuinely feel like I'm going to do something with, right? Like having a rule book for something especially is really more of what I'm after. Like if it's a board game like a Steamforged thing, I feel like it's a little bit different because they've been doing it for a while and they do sell large board games, so fine, whatever, that's how you get board games anymore. But for the small stuff, the hobgoblins of the world, right? Like having a rule book and maybe some STLs or something, like that's usually enough to get me to want to play something. So, I feel good about that. Having a hardback or a hard copy, I should say, of a book is what I'm after in most cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
If maybe I had a little more library space, a little more bookshelf space, I might be into that. But
yeah.
Luckily, I'm somewhat limited there. But anyway, what else do we got going, Casey?
I don't know what else. So I've been painting a Space Marine. That's been pretty interesting.
Cool.
I have a lot of weird thoughts, lately about Space Marines. Yeah, I don't know.
These things take over the dang hobby. You can't go one episode of Bravely the podcast without talking about Space Marines.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, the Space Marines are in your face all the time. They're front and center, and they represent pretty much all of miniature painting. And it feels weird because in most cases, I can't get behind it. Like, I don't particularly like Space Marines. I don't like the whole character behind it, the brother, everything. Like, it's not for me. I don't feel into it. Like, it's not doing anything for me. But then, and I don't know why, but I'll run into a random model, and it'll be a stupid Space Marine, and I'll just be like, somehow halfway I'm painting it to a good standard, thinking like, this is sweet. This sweet model. I like this model, Look at this sweet armor, this sweet backpack. Like, edge highlight. Yeah, look how good that look. Like, I get into it, and I'm just like, dude, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't care about these most of the time, and I don't even like that they're here all the time. I don't even play 40K like very often at all. Like, I'm much more of the like fantasy end of things, and I'd much rather do that. But like the Space Marines, dude, like, they just feel cool. They do sometimes. They just hit me in just the right way. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I think they do paint up pretty well. Especially the Primaris are designed to paint up pretty well. The idea of power armor is kind of cool. Like their entire personalities being based on who their father is, and just brother this, brother that is stupid and boring to no end. And the fact that they need to make 20 versions of the same thing and 20 lineages of these same boring friggin' brotherhoods is mind-numbing. But the armor's pretty cool. It's fun to put the little black lining in there and the edge highlighting on it. So yeah. But in terms of being the poster children for the entire hobby of mini painting, it should be goblins. Goblins should be
It should be.
It, like, 100% should be goblins. Yeah.
But it's not.
Name one better type of character to represent all of miniature painting. Goblins. It's got to be goblins.
It's got to be. Like, it really does. It has to be. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and I see those things, right? I see that, like, especially the Primaris stuff. It's like, this was definitely designed to be like paintable, right? Like, they thought this through, or they got lucky. I don't know. Probably thought it through though. And that's really good. But even like, so the one I've been working on, right? It's like a second edition, whatever, Space Marine guy. A tactical Marine. That's what I'm looking for. And like, it's just a stupidly satisfying process, and it looks so good on the other end of like doing the whole process that I go through. And I don't know, like, it makes me want to really like Space Marines. Like, when I painted up a bunch of tactical, like, Space Wolves, I was like, dude, I'm in. Like, I'm going to buy a Space Wolves army. And then, like, months later, I'm like, why? No. Why would you do that? That's stupid. I don't know. I'm torn.
Stay strong, brother. Stay strong.
I've been watching the Fallout show, and all I could think is It's the Brotherhood of Steel and
Yeah, Brotherhood of Steel.
God, it's everywhere.
No, I actually painted up a Space Marine I quite liked earlier this week for the November No Shave November mustache thing. I painted up a green Marine, and I did a head swap with one of the Aussie heads, the Space Aussies from Victoria Miniatures. Yeah, when we were at Trenchworks sorting through the bin of rejects, we were sorting through their trash.
Literal garbage,
I pulled out a few heads from Victoria Miniatures from that trash pile, and I cleaned one up and stuck it onto a Primaris Lieutenant and painted it all a pretty good paint job.
It does look good.
Thank you, Kay. This is kind of you. I went with a nice green color scheme. So, yeah, Simon Clark from the YouTube channel, Simon Clark, his side thing is painting miniatures, and somehow he got roped into a Movember Marine activity. So, Movember has been around for at least a decade. It's
a long time, yeah.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time, and it's basically for guys to grow out a mustache for the month of November and raise awareness and raise funds for various men's health issues. I think it started out with a lot of like cancer screening kind of stuff. And then from there, it's also kind of morphed to include more mental health. And anyway, November, mustache, men's health issues. Cool.
Yeah.
And anyway, Movember Marines is getting people to do a head swap or some other creative thing to put a mustache on a Space Marine. And so there is an Instagram account going right now that could probably use some more followers. Instagram account, Movember Marines. Go check it out and give them a follow. But I think the idea is that every day for the month of November, they're going to post a new picture of a new Space Marine with a mustache.
Nice.
And I'm told my Marine will go up on November 11th. That's my day. That's my guy.
All right.
11/11. That's my Green Marine. And yeah. I'm part of this collaboration, although I wasn't really paying attention, so I could only pass on some of the details onto you. But I think the idea is that they'd try to go around the color wheel and get Marines in all kinds of different colors with just creative mustaches on them. So I've got a green Marine. He's got his Aussie head on there. I think he looks pretty cool. It's a mix of Warpstone Glow and Moot Green.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when dealing with these British people, you like have to communicate in Games Workshop color terms. So
it's so good, dude.
So Simon was talking to me. He's like, wait, what shade of green are you going to use?
Like, moot green?
It's friggin' UK. Moot
so
green.
Good.
Do you understand that?
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah.
Warpstone Glow, which doesn't even have the word green in the title. Like, what is a warpstone and what color could it glow?
Warpstone is only green, like, obviously.
We joke sometimes about Sorcerer's Cloak or Sorcerer's or Wizard's Orb, but Warpstone Glow is just another one of those. Okay, what color is that? What? Okay, yeah.
Oh man, it sucks too because like we've been in for long enough that like I do associate things with those terms. You know what I mean? Like you say Inky by Darkness, and I'm like, dude, that's the best. It's the best color. You know what I mean?
It's basically coal black from P3.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. I don't like coal black. I want the Inky by Darkness.
It was kind of cute when Games Workshop was the one game company with a spit paint line, and they were putting out these funny fantasy names. But then there's been 10 other paint companies putting out dumb fantasy names. Games Workshop nuked their original line and just made up a new range of names for their new line of paints. And
dude, that's the worst mistake they ever made.
Too much.
Worst mistake
they ever made. At least keep the names. At least keep the names. Yeah.
Like if you've got names for 40 years and they've been the same for 40 years, then no one's gonna argue when you put out paint and it has that name on it. like it's fine. But no, now I don't know what silver anybody has anymore, or gold. I don't know. Gehennis.
Yeah, Gehennis gold.
At
least it has the word gold in it.
That's true. Well, okay, like retribution.
It's not Gehennis glow. Like it's
it's true.
Gehennis orb.
What's a Gehennis? Should be black.
But so the name thing is the only minor on this, but I was I was actually getting pretty angry working with the pots. Like I like the hue of both Warpstone Glow and Moot Green. I think those are both nice colors.
Yeah.
But man, trying to drip the right amount from the pot into an airbrush and then later just trying to get anything from the pot onto my wet palette. Super annoying. And I did the thing where somehow I wound up touching the rim of the pot and just my entire hand was green. Like it's just...
Dude, yeah.
I hate that paint lines. I don't hate the paint. I hate the bottles and the labels on the bottles and the prices of those bottles and the way British people can only communicate using those words. It's very frustrating.
So weird.
Yeah.
That is it. It's just baked in at this point. I don't know.
But I painted a marine. It looks pretty good. And I know what you mean. I hate that Marines are the poster boys for this thing. I hate that they are doing Movember, and the way they're doing Movember is with Marines. Yeah, right? Do Movember goblins. Do Movember anything else.
Goblins with mustaches, dude?
Why does it always come back to friggin' Space Marine? Again, it's the British. The friggin' British. You can't help it. I can't help it.
I mean, maybe that's what it is. It's just so baked in. Like, it's just being put on us and pushed on us all the time. Yeah. We're gonna have to toss these Space Marines at some point.
But I'm pushing back. I am painting models with mustaches. I went through my entire collection looking for models with mustaches. Yeah. And I'm hoping I follow through and actually make a video on this. But I found like 3 or 4 models over the past 5 years that I'd painted that actually have a mustache. Like a surprisingly low number of mustache models. We talked about this before. I'm basically excluding beards. Like if you have a beard and a mustache, it's not really the same thing. It's like this person has a mustache. But I did find, a couple that I'd painted, and I found a lot that I hadn't painted. So I have a whole painting list of like, ooh, I'd like to paint this mustache and this mustache and this mustache, and then can really properly celebrate Movember without just giving GW more completely unearned, advertisement. So
if you got good enough at Photoshop, you could just paint the head and plop it on a Space Marine.
True.
Maybe next time.
True.
Yeah.
Next time. But in the meantime, I've been painting my Relic Blade minis. I've got
there you go.
More Victoria miniatures. I've got some Wyatt Earp gunslingers. I've got There's a mini in the Bloodfield starter pack from Titan Forge. It has a nice mustache. I've got a list. I've got like a solid list of mustache minis.
Like, enough to make a full-fledged video of just mustaches in mini wargaming.
Yeah. Well, a little peek behind the curtain. I was drafting out possible video ideas, and I was like, okay, what if I can do like a top 10 mustaches in miniature wargaming or something like that?
That's pretty solid, man.
So typing it up and seeing what the list would be. And I'm at like 15 or 16, and I can't narrow it down. I can't bring myself.
That's where you give the bonus, man. Like,
I think you have to do that. Now that we've hit
number 10, here are 5 bonus models. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'll clue you in here. My camera's down, but I'm holding one of the very first Conquest minis from their 100 Kingdoms.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And there's not good models, but a couple of the heads have outstanding mustaches, like truly outstanding. And so
that's like 38 millimeter scale and everything, so it's bigger. You got beefier mustaches, bigger heads. Yeah.
There's one where it's even like malforming the shape of his hood. Like his hood, the mustache goes under the hood. It goes out and under the hood, but like the hood is bulged out where the mustache is. And it's,
so good.
But, it's an early Conquest model, so the model's not very good. So where does it go on the ranking of top 10? Maybe it doesn't even crack the top 10. You don't know.
It might not. That's good. Actually, I would say it doesn't, just because I have models that have mustaches and like they're pretty good. So I don't know. I mean, if you're doing your research, like I guess we'll find out. That's the idea.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah. Do those Necromunda models. A lot of mustaches in there.
Mostly on the Orlok side.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I went digging through my box. I have the original or the re-release of Necromunda, and so I've got the Goliaths. And I was really expecting I was expecting to find a good mustache in there, but no, that was not worth digging that box out. There was not.
Yeah, not so much on there. Yeah.
Frostgrave had some really good ones, of course.
Okay.
Found some Marauders, some like Chaos Marauders from Age of Sigmar. Pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, dude, I got a box of those. I haven't even opened them yet. They're old too.
Yeah, the old ones on horses have some very long mustachios. Like some kind of there's kind of like Mongolian vibes, I might say.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I finally found an excuse to dig into my Star Wars Legion minis and some of the like Rebel troopers. Ooh.
Oh, sure.
Ooh, yeah. So on Endor, there's the one character, Gramps. There's the like one squad of ground troopers that are hanging out near the shield generator, and there's just one old dude with a gray beard. And I mean, he's in the squad, but if there's also just a few folks that just have a mustache, and 1977, 80, 83, exactly. Great years for mustaches, I would say. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much all time for mustaches at that point. Like after that, it just goes downhill. It's not as good.
Yeah, for having both cameras and mustaches, right around the year 1980. Right. Yeah. Good time.
Right. You go back further, people who had enough money to have paintings done, some solid mustaches back then. But who's to say that wasn't just painted on?
Yeah, the year 1700, 1800, fantastic. But you didn't have them cell phone cameras either. So
no, we don't actually know. Like they probably made those look better than they did, but
probably.
Yeah.
Just the artists at the time, just as was the style, just put a mustache on everything.
Give me a mustache, sir. Yes.
Pay extra for that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they made their extra little money there. Big mustache, get a little tip, Yeah. Oh man, I actually been. I was working on some Necromunda gangers, some of those Goliaths.
Ooh.
I actually switched halfway through the week to painting this Space Marine. I was too much. I saw him and I just had to do it. But I did get like 10 models like stripped and ready to go. Yeah. So eventually, I'll get there. But
is that newer Marine. Plastic Goliaths or old plastic Goliaths?
Newer plastic ones.
Okay.
Dude, the old ones are sick though. Like I did paint up, I think 5 or 6 of those. I mean, I guess it's been like a year ago now, but these are new ones that somebody sent me. They tried to magnetize all the arms and options on them, but they use like real teeny tiny little magnets that don't hold very well. So like their arms kind of snap on and then they just flop and they look funny. and they gave up, and they're like, here, I can't do this anymore. It's too frustrating. So I'm going to attempt to try and figure something out. I probably will just green stuff around and make, muscle bulges and whatnot and figure it out, but they're not getting magnetized. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, you drop one and it all falls apart.
Pretty much, yeah.
You need that hot glue.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Fix it all in there.
Dude, I've been 3D printing a bunch too. Like, swapped out FEPs and cleaned up a bunch of stuff, and like put a fresh, screen protector on my nice GK2 screen. Got that all set. It's nice, yeah. It's been a good week, like couple weeks, I guess. Hobby, obviously.
Well, we're heading into winter. I'm actually I'm excited for this winter because I feel like I don't have a lot of plans, a lot of things I need to do other than just getting some hobby done. So I'm excited.
It's good.
I've got all these mustaches to paint, and then it only gets better from there.
Yeah,
it gets better from there.
That's true. A lot of things.
Winter is a good time for hobby.
It is a good time, and I'm definitely feeling good about the projects coming up. Wondering how the holiday season's gonna go. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. Should be good. Yeah. Anyways, thank you again for joining us on another episode of Paint Bravely. If you enjoyed this podcast, please help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, subscribing to the YouTube channel, and sharing this message with your hobby friends. And as always, we appreciate each and every one of you for listening, and we will talk to you next time. And also, for anybody who mentioned that there's something weird going on with the Apple podcast services where they're not showing up, I am looking into it. I don't know what's going on. It's definitely Apple and not us. But I appreciate you.
We appreciate you.